Welcome to Healthier, Happier. I'm Kiersten.
I'm Carli.
We're so happy you're here. We're crazy. We are actually this crazy in real life.
We are. And while we're crazy, we are going to help you feel better and get healthy, connect in your relationships, and enjoy your life because that's what we do.
Because that's what we do. And that's what we're here for. We're going to fall down on that process and we're going to get back up, dust your shoulders off.
Go on, dust your shoulders off.
There you go. I was waiting for it. Okay, girl. Look at she's got some dance moves over there. Oh my goodness. One of my friends, and I was just thinking about this because you're an excellent upper body dancer, Carli.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
Because one of my friends, I'm like, have you had training in upper body dance? Because if my legs aren't involved, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm not a good dancer if my legs are not involved.
Excuse me.
She's really laughing. I love
it. I have never heard.
Okay, have we gone out dancing ever, Carli?
No, I don't know how.
Me too.
Yes.
I love dancing.
I know, me too. I'm not a great dancer, which is why this compliment is so funny because I'm not a great dancer. And anyone who knows me listening to you give me this compliment is going to be dying laughing.
Come on, receive the compliment. Receive it.
I'm receiving it.
Come on. See, you're an excellent upper body dancer. That's the problem. You just must not be good with your lower body.
No, actually, my feet are great. I'm very coordinated.
Okay, what the heck then? I'm sure you're a good dancer.
Great athlete.
I'm sure you're a great dancer. All right, girly.
Oh, I'm crying.
Tell us some cheers or tears. You're tearing up, laughing at me.
Literal tears right now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Woo. Wow. Okay. We're back.
If you can't see her, if you're not watching, if you're just listening, she's like wiping the tears off her face right now. It's happening.
I am. All right. So this is tone it down. Oh, that was fun. Okay, this is a little more serious of a cheers moment. I feel a little emotional saying it, actually, like for real emotional. So my son has been mummified. I said this earlier in an episode.
Yes.
Mummified.
Yeah.
Born like mommy. And it's bittersweet. He is entering his daddy era. Not entering. He is in his daddy era, except
he has arrived.
He has arrived, except for bedtime. That's the only time that I want mom. But the rest of the day or time, it is like, I want dad. Which is great because I love that he wants to be with his dad because there's something so sweet about fathers and sons and that relationship is so needed.
But secretly.
Cheers. Because I'm like, yes.
I know that is a cheers, but secretly you're like, oh, I miss it. Right?
Serious heartbreak. And I'm like, can I have a hug? He's like, no, I'm helping dad. And I'm like,
helping dad. He's like, do you see my hammer right here?
Literally happened last week. I'm not exaggerating. Tools in hand. I can't. I'm helping dad. I'm like, okay, it's fine. So that's my cheers and tears. It's a combo situation.
It is.
Sweet. It is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess.
I mean, I just love, and you don't really notice it's gone until it's gone. It's like, this is like one of these situations. Like you didn't realize how much meaning you were getting from something. Like a simple thing that I'm like, never stop doing this. It's like reaching for my hands, like holding my hands. Like my son holds my hands, he reaches for my hand, and I'm like, can this be forever? I know it's not gonna be forever. And let's be real, it'd be weird if it was forever. But I love it.
Exactly.
But sometimes you don't realize it until it's gone. Is that too cliche to say? Like, and it's not gone, Carli.
It's not
just
gone.
different right now.
Yeah, we're in our daddy era. That's all.
Yeah.
We'll come back to mom. Don't worry.
And guess what? He can have both. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Really just embrace the bedtime experience because that is your moment to shine,
My
Carli.
moment to shine. No one
Yeah.
can.
Do that. Do that. Focus there. And be cheering on that he's got his little hammer and he's helping dad like build things or something.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
Okay, I think what you started really talking about last week makes me just want to keep going with that type of thought process and ask us, okay, remember when we felt really motivated last week when Carli was saying like, and this, and like write down a description of what showing up in a certain way would look like. And I'm like, yes. Or like whatever it is, did you take, and it doesn't have to be that specific action. That was an example. Did you create any space or time without your phone, without like 18 stimuluses coming at you, to just really think about how you want to show up? If it's in one area of your life, it's like if it's a word to focus on. So ask yourself that and like get curious, not like, oh, you need to do it. Even if it's the tiniest thing, it's like taking action on it. Or maybe sometimes it's going to be like, you know what? I am just here for the enjoyment of it. And I know I will, what's that sciencey word? Osmosis. I will absorb some of it because we know that we absorb the people we're around. And it just happens that way. So it's cool. I'm not putting pressure on it, but like just think, did you take action or not on, last week's episode? And I just think it was so cool. And I kind of want to dive in like a different pathway of it. So give us a little synopsis, and you can go back after this episode if you haven't heard it yet. But what were you kind of just give us a one-liner or two about what you were challenging us to do last week, Carli?
Yeah. So the challenge was to identify a word that could sort of kind of encapsulate who you are and how you want to show up in your life.
Okay.
And then to kind of extend that, it would be to define what that word is to you and what that looks like in each area of your life. So for example, if your word was to be consistent, what does it mean to you to be consistent? And then maybe in some different buckets of your life, describe what that looks like. So if it's in your health, if it's in your relationships, if it's in your work, community, and then how are you going to do that?
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, what if someone listening is like, okay, why is this important, Carli? Let's go there before we kind of talk some more strategy.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is important?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think it's hugely important for a couple of reasons. I think it gives you a very narrow focus to zone in on, like, this is how I want to show up. This is significant to me. This is a core value of mine. This is a word that is driving my behavior. It's driving my choices. It's driving my actions. It's driving how I speak to other people. It's driving the way I choose to behave. It's driving the way that I show up and work and operate. It's driving the way I show up for myself. It's a word that is sort of defining my overall behavior and choices. We were talking a couple episodes ago about like variables and choosing a variable, right? And this word almost like connects to that because as you pick a variable, you're also picking if you're going to like lean into that consistently or not. And anytime you want to change something in your life or anytime you just want to, however you want to be in your life, like you're choosing every day how you want to be, right? Like you just
every moment too, sometimes like
every
something
moment
can happen and then you can just like go on autopilot.
Right. And you get to decide all of the time how you want to be. And so some days that's easy and some days that's really hard. And so having one word that is just like a reminder of like, okay, this is who I want to be. And this is why I want to be that way. And this is the reason I picked it. And this is the impact it's going to have on me. If you've done all that thought work ahead of time to think through like, this is the word, this is why, this is the impact. When you just remember that one word, it's like, oh yeah, okay, that's why. And it gives you a very quick, like, this is what I'm going to pick. And when you mess up or when you fail to like do the thing you wanted to do, it's easy to be like, okay, bummer, I didn't show up that way. Next time I'm going to do this. I'm going to follow this being that word, whatever it was. And so it's a very quick, like, reminder in the moment when things are tough and when things are going well.
Yeah, that's cool. Like I'm going to take the next opportunity.
Exactly.
So what if someone listening is like, okay, great. That sounds wonderful. And I'm nervous to even start because I feel like I am not capable of showing up in that way consistently. What would you say to that person? Like that is like stopping before they even start because they are worried they're going to fail, right?
Yeah.
Well, fail, right?
Well, I would say, yeah, it's a great question. And I've coached many people and even just talked to many people about this same thing. First of all, I would say being consistent is not the same as being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a lie that we believe is that if we're going to be consistent, we have to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And being consistent is not the same thing as being perfect. Nobody's going to show up the way that they want to 100% of the time.
Yeah.
The intention is to show up the way that you want. And that's what's important. You have the heart, you have the desire, you have the drive to do that. You're not going to be able to do it perfectly. And that is where having grace and compassion for yourself is key because you remember, okay, I'm trying to do this, I'm doing my best. And that is what counts at the core. I'm not going to follow my meal plan perfectly every day. I'm not going to be able to do my workouts perfectly every day. I'm not going to be able to be loving to the people in my life perfectly every day. I'm not going to parent perfectly every day. Like we all fail. We all make mistakes, but we have the desire and the intention to do so. So, first of all, recognizing that you are going to fall short, but if your aim is to be consistent, then that's not the same as being perfect. And
Right.
you have to allow yourself to just know ahead of time, I'm not going to be perfect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so I would say that's the first thing that we have to learn and remember for everybody.
Yeah. And I think a why strong enough to like get back up again
Mhm.
is what helps me too if I feel like, oh, right? That's interesting. That's cool. Um, could you talk to us, give us some ideas about you said something that I was like, yes, last week about evidence. Well, I just thought of evidence-based research, right? So
Yeah.
what is the evidence that is going to show up in your life? Like, can you talk us through like, because
Yeah.
I'm a really good dreamer, A plus for dreaming, and I'm a really good ideas person, right? But then sometimes when I look at all my ideas or think about all my dreams, I'm like, oh, like you got to choose one, Kiersten, for now.
Yeah.
And then that can turn into something else by being open. So anyway, like give us some like ideas of how to check the evidence without being all shamey or without like ignoring the evidence. Like sometimes I can get in these ruts of like, oh, I just don't. I realize I haven't checked my voicemails in a while or bank account in a while. Another week's not going to hurt me. Right. But yes, it will if you're unaware of what's going on in your life.
Right. Yeah.
Text me, you guys. Don't send me a voicemail. Please just text. Okay.
Millennial.
Yeah. So talk to us about some ideas as we kind of like, we're just taking a step. We're just making a choice. And that's what we're working on this week. Talk to us about that evidence wise.
Yeah, exactly. And the purpose of even like recognizing what the evidence is so that you can just do a quick snapshot of your life. And so you could like just very quickly glimpse at it and be for reflective purposes to be like, okay, am I showing up in this way? Yes or no? To self-assess. Right. So like if my word, and I'll give you an example from my own life.
Okay.
Because one of and this kind of stems, this word of the year, stems from like values. And so one of my values for my kids in particular is that I want to be present.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to be present, like I have to know, what does that actually mean? Well, it means to be like engaged. It means that I am like face to face talking to them, that I'm not answering an email or like on my phone while they're showing me their artwork after school, that I am like looking them in the eye, I'm engaging with them, I'm asking follow-up questions. So I've identified what it is,
Yeah.
right? So when I'm looking for evidence, I can very quickly look at my life and see, what have I done? Like, what are my behaviors that show I've been present or I have not been present? And so when I first started doing this for myself, I would just quickly, like at the end of the day, take like 30 seconds and be like, okay, was I present with my kids today? Like, what are the ways that I showed up and was present? And I would just kind of scan through how I interacted with each of my kids. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I was present with my son at bath time. Instead of like him playing in the bath and me like checking Instagram,
Yeah.
I was playing in the bath with him.
Right.
I was present in that way. With my daughter, when she was struggling to like pick out a book before bedtime, I was helping her pick out a book instead of just saying, pick a book really quickly. Let's go. You're going to run out of time.
Right.
And so the purpose of
Okay.
looking at evidence is simply just for you to be able to say, this is what being present looks like. And again, it's not supposed to be like a laundry list of things, but it is just meant to be a quick snapshot for you to assess, okay, did I show up in this way? Yes, I did. I'm proud of myself. That's great. Here were a few ways I did. Bummer. Here are a few ways I missed the mark. This is what I'm going to do differently tomorrow. And that allows you to adjust and be different and better the next time.
I love it. I love it so much. Okay. I'm going to be a rebel and I'm going to finish with my takeaways from that right there. And then we want to hear your takeaways. We're a healthier, happier hour anywhere you go. Share with us your takeaways from this episode and what you want to hear next too. So my takeaways, some things I just wrote down is, one thing is like it's meant to be a quick snapshot of your life. And so I thought, oh, like I'm always thinking about like getting my reps in, right? And so I liked your specific example. So if the word is presence, then I can at the end of the day just do a quick snapshot of, that's what it's meant to be. Like that's what I tell people blood work is like too. Or like if you check anything, it's a snapshot, right? And so, okay, so take that snapshot. I wrote that down. And then another thing I think it might be fun for me to play with, but I'll probably like break the rules and change the rules next week, is a percentage, right? So like sometimes when you're talking to someone about symptoms, which is usually a negative connotation, but we're talking about evidence in a positive connotation with your word or your intention, right? And so I want to think a percentage of my day. So if the word is presence, like, and I think of, what percentage of the time do I think, just put down the answer, it doesn't have to be perfect, was I present with whatever. I could do that in buckets or people, or I could just be like, boom, out of 100% of my waking day today, I felt like I was present and where I needed to be and where my feet were, all in, 30% or 60% or 80%, whatever it is. And that might be a fun thing to just write down and see how you're showing up, that evidence-based.
Yeah.
Interesting. So those are my takeaways. Snapshot. Play with a percentage based on my word. When did I feel like I was soaring? If soar is my word, when did I feel like that? When was I like taking that approach with the meaningful relationships in my life?
Yeah. And remembering, like, at the end of the day, you have the power to choose. Like, this is all based on your choice and your behavior. And it doesn't mean being perfect, and that you get to do it better the next time.
Ooh, that was a good one. That is also a takeaway. Perfect and consistent, two separate things. And you could always put a different vote in and make a different choice.
Yeah. Hey, good.
Well, thank you. That was amazing.
So good. Awesome conversation.
Yeah, so fun. Thanks for coaching me through that. I'm really excited about my takeaways. We want to hear your takeaways. And just remember, if you are getting any amount of value with us with something free, just think, how can I take the next brave step? And that could just even be like, not even paying for it, but like emailing us, messaging us on Instagram could be your next step of like bravery and investment. Like raising your hand and be like, I'm here, let's go. Right?
Let's do it.
Yay. Awesome.